How's it going, everybody? Degenerate Commentary Channel 12345 here, coming at you live. Alright, so today we got a controversy on our hands. This time it's not about a scandal, it's actually about food. So Logan Paul, KSI, Mrbeast are in some fire for launching a product called Lunchly, which is supposed to be a competitor with Lunchables. And with how Twitter just reacted to it, I mean, you would think that they had launched some sort of radioactive snack on the market based on how Twitter's losing their shit over it. Now, if we're gonna be real for a second, I don't think it's really about the product. I think it's more about the personalities behind it, the product. So today, we're gonna dive deep into why people are really mad. And spoiler alert, it's nothing really to do about what's in the box. So let's jump into it. So Lunchly, if you haven't heard, right, is Logan Paul, KSI, and Mrbeast's latest business venture that they're doing. It's basically like Lunchables, but with a few upgrades. More electrolytes, supposedly better ingredients, and obviously the faces of these three plastered on. Sounds pretty harmless, right? Wrong. People have been trashing Lunchly on Twitter like it's the latest villain in like a Marvel movie or something. But if we're being honest, okay, the backlash isn't about the food. I mean, it's kind of about the food, but you know, Lunchables has been around forever, right? It's been packed with more preservatives than a Hollywood A-lister, and nobody's batted an eye. And now suddenly it's a problem because who's behind it? And that's where I think things get a little bit shady. Okay, so we're gonna dissect this. Okay, so here's the thing. I think if Lunchly was launched by some sort of, you know, like a Martha Stewart or some sort of wholesome food brand, we wouldn't even have this conversation right now. People would have been like, oh, it's kind of cute that they're like updating Lunchables and just kind of making it a better meal for kids overall. But because it's Logan Paul, KSI, and Mrbeast, people are jumping on the hate train like they're the ones personally ruining school lunches. Now let's be real. Are people genuinely concerned about the electrolytes in these snacks? Or is it just that they want another reason to drag them, right? Because, you know, in recent times, KSI, Logan Paul, definitely, you know, his past controversy, and Mrbeast just haven't been in the, I guess, in the public opinion spotlight right now, in the court of public opinion. You can definitely say that they are not doing too well. If you hate Logan Paul or you think KSI fights are a joke, it's easy to throw a quick, oh, they're poisoning our youth. It's kind of lazy. It's kind of lame. It's pretty obvious that it's less about the health and more about virtue signaling, right? And if we're talking about virtue signaling, let's bring up the bandwagon effect, okay? People love to hate on the internet, right? But it always becomes this morality superior complex, right? And right now it's trendy to hate these three. Twitter's full of people saying, oh, it's terrible for the kids. But if we're being honest, let's not act like Lunchables hasn't been serving us many heart attacks in a box for decades, okay? Where was the outrage before this happened? That's what I really want to know. It's like the second Logan Paul's name came up, people decided suddenly they cared about kids' health. Because if we're being honest, we've been shoving processed meats and mystery cheese into kids' mouth for decades now, okay? Lunchables has been here forever. But now I think it's an issue because Logan Paul's selling it. I think that's kind of people's general consensus on the subject. It's really not that big of a deal because kids eat shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? And also you don't want them to eat more shit, but it's kind of it is what it is. And also more electrolytes is not a bad thing. It's more sodium, and you need that sodium to be replenished after you've, you know, worked out. Let's say they got PE and in whatever period, even if it's after. Getting those electrolytes in your day, it's just good to have. So one of the biggest criticisms that people are saying, right, is that it's just a cash grab and they're just making money off of it. Absolutely, right? And that's just kind of how that's how, you know, business works, right? And if you don't understand that, well, I have a bridge to sell you, okay? I mean, that's literally every company. You can't even sit there and pretend like that's not the basis of most companies. You think Lunchables is out here creating out of the goodness of Kraft's heart? It's a business strategy, throughout within. You know, it just is what it is, okay? But because, you know, Logan Paul, KSI, Mrbeast were clearly under fire for many reasons, right? And some of it's justified, okay? It's sort of like an exploitation for kids as a cash grab, which there is a bit of validity there, but I think it's people trying to pretend as if the nutritionist facts is more of a bigger problem than the actual problem or the actual reason why they're outraged, which is really just because they don't like the people who are selling it. And, you know, following this, DanTDM even jumped on Twitter saying that they're selling this to their impressionable audience. And I get where he's coming from, 100%, right? But let's not pretend like every YouTuber is out here trying to sell some sort of product, whether it's food, merch, anything. They're selling some sort of product, courses, all that. Right? So it's kind of hypocritical when you think about it in that aspect. We're cool with brand deals and merch and stuff, but when it's lunch boxes with electrolytes, it's suddenly the morality police come out full force. It's just it's so one-sided. Now, the real question is, what's with the hate? You know, why are they hating? And it's simply because of the people who are selling, okay? These guys are polarizing characters, whether you like it or not, whether it's Logan Paul's controversies, KSI's boxing, or Mrbeast getting called out for his charity stunts. They've obviously rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and some of it is justified, okay? We can't sit here and pretend like these are, you know, peaches and cream, right? And if we're being honest, this is just the latest excuse to really dogpile them, you know? But here's the thing, right? If you don't like them, I think you just don't buy it. It's really that simple. Like at the end of the day, it's really just that simple, just don't buy it. But instead we got people pretending, right? Practically foaming at the mouth over a product they're never going to touch in the first place. I feel like the hate is a little bit more emotional of a reaction to the lunchly, to the guys behind the lunchly, and not the actual lunch itself. And the crazy part to me is that before this even happened, nobody was talking about Lunchables. Before Lunchly came, nobody was talking about it. There wasn't some like Twitter crusade about how bad these pre-packaged lunches are for kids. But now Logan, KSI, Mrbeast being involved, it's suddenly like, we need to save the kids now. We need to save them. If you actually cared though, I feel like most people would have started this argument like years ago. And maybe there have been some people, but not to this degree. It's very virtual signaling-esque. It just is what it is. But because it's cool to hate on them, people are gonna act like that regardless, you know? It just is what it is. It's how the internet is, you know? As if they invented unhealthy snacks. The hypocrisy, in my opinion, it's really to the next level. Like, people are just waiting for another chance to dunk on them. And the Lunch League gave them the perfect excuse. I mean, this might have been probably the worst time to release Lunch League, just based on the fact that I mean, I guess you can say it's either the best time or the worst time because all publicity is good publicity, but at the same time, it's just kind of bad looks because of how Twitter works, and they just clap back and they dogpile. So, you know, if we're gonna take away from anything, look, okay, Lunchly might not be the healthiest product out there. I'm fully aware, right? But neither is most of the shit that we eat on a daily basis. The difference here is that people aren't mad about the product fully within, right? They're mad about the people behind it, 100%. And you can argue back and forth, but really that's the case here. Logan Paul and KSI, you know, they become lightning rods for hate at this point. And it's just really another example of how the internet likes to bandwagon after somebody gets scrutinized for like one thing, right? I say, you know, judge the product and not the people behind it, because that's where a lot of people's talking points were. Some people were talking about the electrolytes and the nutrition facts, but a lot of it's like not that deep. It's really not that deep. It's like a little bit extra salt. It's like, okay. And if you don't like them, I think that's 100% fine. You don't have to like them. But let's not pretend Lunchly like an evil plot. Like they're trying to like poison the youth all day. Like it doesn't make any sense. You know, we've been cool with Lunchables the whole time, so I don't see how this can really be a problem that big, you know? And Twitter always has meltdowns whenever it's something this big. They really they like to feast off of it, you know? They like to feast off of the likes and impressions. We're gonna look at DanTDM's tweet, and we're gonna see what he thought about the situation and everything. So let's look at it. So right here is DanTDM's tweet. It says, what happened to YouTubers, man? I cannot say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of just making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? Selling crap to kids. Selling crap to kids who don't know any better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Do better.
Lunchly versus Lunchables.
With Lunchly, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime
Okay,
has
so
no
this
sugar
is
added, more
showcasing the
electrolytes,
product.
and more B vitamins.
Crunch Bar. Feastables Crunch. Yeah! Our pizza uses real cheese. Theirs, as it says on their box, is mozzarella pasteurized prepared cheese product. They can't even call it real cheese. Ooh. We're also 30 less calories, 3 less grams of fat, and 8 less grams of sugar. Turkey Stack'em, 310 calories.
230 calories.
21 grams of sugar.
Only 7 grams of sugar.
If you look at this close up, you can already tell which one has better ingredients. All right, we'll start off with the Lunchables.
Bro, I'm sorry, that's trash. All right, now we're
All right, they're kind of upselling it there.
Come on. We're not biased at all, but ours is way better.
Fiesta Nachos, 22 grams of sugar.
10 grams of sugar.
7 grams of protein.
9 grams of protein.
Come in close and look at the queso cheese in Lunchly versus whatever that is.
Oh,
Drip versus stick. I like my cheese drippy, bruh. This is a Lunchly salsa right here. Look at the consistency, the texture. And this is Lunchables. Look, it's watery. I can't even look at that. With 400 milligrams of electrolytes, my God!
And it's available for around $4. Super affordable. Go give it a try.
Oh my God.
Wait. $4 per package? Wait, if they're selling it $4 per package, I would hope that it would be, if it's per package, $4 per package, that is pretty expensive. That's pretty expensive. Okay. Now, in terms of a business aspect, it's pretty smart, right? Because you know you have your 8 fractional cost spending yield. So you have sometimes you want to sell things for like $8. So I was looking at prices the other day and at like normal Lunchables, and it says that the normal price of a Lunchable, like one Lunchable, it depends on which one you get, obviously, but I seen prices that were around $168. Some were like $2.99. So if this is per package, that's pretty expensive, right? And obviously they have their own brand and their name brand, and they're gonna do what they do. And the fact that they promise a little bit more better ingredients, the upscale compared to the downscale of Lunchables, I don't know how much that metric really has an equilibrium, but nonetheless, it's their company, it's their business, they're gonna do what they do, right? It's really not our business. Now we can sit here and judge, but and be entitled to our own opinion. I think $4 is a little expensive, especially if you're going to compete with someone, right? If you're going to be the competitor of a company, you would want to brand your pricing not only better and healthier, but less of the cost. So I don't know if it's like if you get 3 for $4, and they said around $4. They never fully said 4, so it was like $3.99 or something like that, or something of that nature. If you get multiple for that much, that's a steal. That's a steal. That's a steal. But you know, we're gonna have to see how the packaging really is, or how everything truly looks. Yeah, I mean, I think the outrage is a little bit granted, but it's also a little bit dogpilish. So we're gonna look at Logan Paul and KSI's response to the situation, because Twitter went in on them. Okay, they tried to respond. All of them actually responded, and it just didn't go too well. Okay, so after DanTDM, you know, said some not so nice things about their response or their product, KSI then takes to Twitter and he quote tweets him, and he shows a product of DanTDM that looks to be U2s or something like that. I remember this back in the day. A lot of people had like little U2s, characters of them, basically just dogpiling his product, basically saying it was dog shit. Now I can say, you know, he definitely can be entitled to that. I think that it's a little bit low to stoop down to their level and insult his product, and in that case, now the people were countering them because, you know, like it says, he had one as well, you know, so that right there, I mean, they got him, you know, it's a lady gentleman's, we got him there. And a lot of people were you know, backing DanTDM just because DanTDM's actually a nice guy. Okay, he's a nice guy. Like Dan in the Minecraft, I used to watch DanTDM back in the day, like I was in Minecraft. He's a nice guy, he's a chill guy. He was like family, he's like 2 kids, I think, wife, all that, like pretty cool guy. He's a chill dude. So a lot of people just seen him more of as like a personal, like, you know, I guess a soft-hearted nature person, just kind of not seeing eye to eye with this. And I think that kind of fueled even the fire even more. Like, it's DanTDM. Like, you can't really hate DanTDM. He's not really like an evil person at all, from my knowledge. So, I mean, just going through the time. I mean, you just go through the comments, and it's just ratio after ratio. You know, you thought you cooked after this. You wish you could make merch this good. Just really bad looks overall. You know. And then you know, KSI goes to say, but he's talking about food. Say he was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munch Pack, a monthly sub box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? So right there, that is a little bit that's kind of hypocritical. It's kind of, say what you want, it's a bit hypocritical. Okay, it's a bit hypocritical. Now Twitter, obviously they're not gonna let this slide. Like, they're obviously gonna keep clapping back again. So, you know, you look at the comments again, and I mean, dude, it says, one of the sponsor video, plus he isn't claiming candy is healthy. In the video, it says, you guys own the company and actively claiming it's healthy alternative, that's the problem. Which I think that there's some validity there, but it's really about the people that they're selling the product. It's not really about the kids. It's really not about the kids. It's about the people selling it, 100%. And I don't know how much of a good play this was from them at this time. Like, I think maybe do future. Actually, let me say it. Because I think that things like this have to be like in the making for a while, right? So this may have just inevitably had to come out at this time or something like that. Now there's like the argument of like, it's good that it came out at this time because there's a lot of eyes on them, and there's like, you know, there's gonna be super outrage. Like a lot of people are gonna know about it. So this is it's kind of bad publicity, but it's kind of good publicity at the same time, especially if you just don't see it that deep, because I don't think it's that deep at like, think about it. Like take away your bias, right? And just think about it like objectively. What is this objectively, right? Take away Logan Paul out of the equation and Mrbeast equation. Let's say Keanu Reeves, a beloved human being, pops out, he drops this. What would the public perception be if Keanu Reeves dropped this product? Would people really be hating on the product? Keanu Reeves says, I got a lower electrolytes, or I got more electrolytes to replenish your electrolytes, right? Lower sugar, this, that, the third, right? I think the bigger thing is, in my eyes, I think the worst thing is when they're advertising it, when you look at the pictures and stuff, they're advertised like full bars, full prime bottles. But when you look at the box, it's a little tiny prime, and I think that's the biggest thing is the marketing. That's really the worst part of it. I don't even think it's anything about anything else. That's the worst part, is that they're kind of marketing as if you're gonna get a full bar of candy and a full bar of juice, and it's not that. Dude, they're not selling poison to kids. I don't think so. I think a few years back it was a document or some sort of case that Lunchables actually had lead in their food, right? It was discussed that lead was being processed in children's food, and right there, nobody was out. I never heard anybody get mad about that, right? I never heard anybody get mad at that. So I mean, you can sit here and hop on the bandwagon and have fun with that, but if we're really being rational about how we're thinking, it's really not that deep. And honestly, this is good. As much as you say it's bad PR, I think it's good PR. I think it's a genius play, because even though everybody doesn't like it, or people don't like them and whatnot, due time. The same thing with Prime. When Prime first dropped, people were like, they said the same thing, and it just became this bigger, because more people pile on, it just becomes this over like bearing super cluster of like people piling on and dogpiling on, to where everybody knows about it, and people talk, oh, did you hear about the DanTDM? So it's really, I think that's the aspect that it's really about, and not so based on, you know, them being actual, like I guess you want to call them not roofiers, but like poisoning, I don't know, spikers or spiking the kids' meals. Oh my gosh. Let's see. So Drama Alert took to Twitter to basically talk about the situation. It says YouTubers are not happy with Mrbeast and KSI and Logan Paul with their new product, right? And then under it, Mrbeast replies, Lunchable sells hundreds of millions of units and countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative to it. Our turkey meal, for example, is 80% or 80 less calories, 60% less sugar, more electrolytes. We use real cheese. They use product cheese. They can't call it actual cheese. High quality meat, etc. Obviously, eating fresh chicken and broccoli is healthier, but someone who's going to eat a pre-made meal like this, which millions of people do through Lunchables, and I think giving them a higher quality version at roughly the same price is a net good, in my opinion, and why we launched Lunchly. Also as we get economies of scale and can get things cheaper, we will only be improving the product more and more. Excuse me, that's a bit of a tough read. So right there, you know, he was replying to the situation, basically saying that he believes they're in the right. He believes, you know, that they aren't doing anything wrong, which you can say that, right? There's definitely a case of, you can say that they're just trying to sell a product. The product itself, I don't think is okay, it's healthy. It's a healthy alternative, but it's not the healthiest thing in the world. That's a plausible argument. But a lot of people are making it seem as if people are eating like the most healthiest meals all the time. Dude, they're kids. They eat candy. Like when you're a kid, that's the best time to be eating candy. When you get older, that's when you don't want to be eating candy. So this is like, I don't know. It just seems very bandwagonish and dogpilish to say that what they're doing is fully rooted in being evil, when you can clearly tell it's kind of just they want to sell a product. So in DanTDM's original response, Logan Paul goes to say, I'll tell you what happened to YouTubers. We spent our lives creating content and building our brands. Now we want to build businesses. You don't say anything when Lunchables faces bans for allegedly containing lead, but when we create a better version, you're upset, then don't eat it. After this, you know, Logan Paul was basically, they put him in a vortex, okay? He got sucked in like a black hole where, I mean, look at this. Look, just, you know, just community note after community, dude, community note after community note of just attacking. I mean, it's as bad as it gets, you know what I'm saying? Look at this. Every single thing is just a community note. I mean, he was going back and forth, basically even fighting with community notes, basically saying, you know, that people are like voting and casting votes to make the community note and whatnot. It's just crazy. Like, always a pleasure to expose the lies of community notes. By the way, they removed the note because it's a lie, and it got marked as, it got marked as needing more votes because it was not true. And although it's gone, now remove community note. So basically, he's saying that community notes is cooked. Some sort of community note was basically they were just breaking down the nutrients in the product and basically saying the product was, I think he was accusing Lunchables of having lead in their containment and basically things of Prime also having lead in their containment. I don't think they're doing that bad of harm. It's not that bad of harm. It's a lot of virtue signaling on a lot of other people's end, and they're not going to be able, people are not going to like that. They're not going to believe it. They're not going to face it. But if we're being objective about it, it's a lot of virtue signaling, whether you like it or not. Okay. But dude, that's really it. You know, Mrbeast, Logan Paul, KSI, controversy it's just around them all the time. They can't escape. But that's really about it, you know? So with that being said, yo, if you have a different opinion, you know, you're entitled to your opinion, leave a comment down below if you believe so. Share your opinion, share your thoughts, turn on those notifications. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. And like the videos for the YouTube algorithm so I can make my own product and do better than them. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap up for today. So I'll see you when you're older. Peace.